Gary Bear,
Talk to me.
I think we finally discovered something that Tom Brady is not good at. Getting teammates to dap him up in a timely manner.
He got done dirty for sure in the booth.
Welcome to the Elle Duncan Show with Gary Streisky. Oh my goodness. I got to be honest with you.
Be careful. You know Tom Brady is my guy.
I know.
He doesn't know that he's my guy, but you know he's my guy.
I know. As someone who has just always been really good at football. By the way, everybody that's dunking on Tom Brady and they're like, oh, finally, like he's not good at everything. Have you ever seen this man act? We knew he wasn't good at everything.
Whoa. Okay. Low
he's
blow.
a horrible actor.
Low blow. Okay.
He's truly a bad actor.
You're talking about Ted?
I'm talking about like every mattress commercial he's done, that TV show he did with Paul Rudd when he was coming out of a massage thing, like as a wink and a nod to Robert Kraft. He's just not a good actor.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
That.
Not a good actor, and that's okay. We don't need him to be Peyton Manning. We don't need him to be.
Oh,
He's got 7 rings. He's got 7. I think Peyton would probably trade in some of those rings for great acting chops, right?
Okay. There's no such thing as small parts, just small actors, and I think his thespian ability isn't that bad.
I think it's horrible, but people need to pump the brakes on all over Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It's fun. He's more beautiful than you. He's richer than you. He at one point was married to a model. He's more successful than probably we will ever be. He's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
This man not only is doing something for the first time, and by the way, friends, people in broadcasting love these moments because it's a big you to those of you that think that what we do is that easy. It is a reminder, guys.
Very hard.
Broadcasting's not that easy. Calling color for games, not easy.
Yeah.
We make it look easy. We make it look so easy that you, Joe Blow at home, think that you can do it. It's not that easy.
Get some.
On top of the fact that it's not that easy, because of his link to the Raiders and trying to buy the Raiders, there's like a laundry list of things that Tom Brady isn't even allowed to say. So on top of the fact that you're doing something you've never done before, you're doing it knowing that they gave you over $370 million to do it. You're doing it knowing that they pulled Greg Olsen off of it to fill you in, something that everyone was upset about because this man just won an Emmy for how good he is. You're doing all of that with the auspices of also knowing there's many things that you can't say because it's a violation of tampering or ownership. That is a lot to carry on your shoulders. And I hate that I am living in a world where I am defending Tom Brady. But you guys, it's wild to me. Everyone, like 5 minutes into the game, they were like, he is the most dog broadcaster I've ever heard and he needs to get fired. It's wild, you guys. Relax.
Leave this to the professionals, all right? You heard Elle. This is not easy. This is hard.
It's not easy.
Okay, we went to school for this.
Right.
Also, Greg Olsen, now that you mention it, good broadcaster, even a better rapper. You can do the YouTube yourself. Jackson to my left is like, I know what you're talking about, Gary.
This man's very talented.
Have you heard?
I have not heard Greg Olsen rapping.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
We got a project.
Is this something that I need to hear in real time?
Yeah.
Oh, is it good or bad?
Elle, how have you not heard Greg Olsen's rap?
I can't believe you're asking this as if I like...
No, he went to the U and he was rapping with like the homies in the dorms and that was...
like pretty fly for a white guy rap? Was it like Kesha rapping or was it like real rap?
Nah, this is like some real shit. This is some like drill shit. You got to listen to it. Just
Greg Olsen is cosplaying as Pop Smoke. Let me find out.
Just listen to it.
All right, I'm gonna have to do that deep dive.
You will.
But man, the NFL is back. Aaron Rodgers returns. The Chiefs are gonna 3-peat, and Tyreek Hill had to not only battle defenders, but also the police to get to the game. We're going to get to all of that here on the Elle Duncan Show, but we're starting on the W, as we tend to do.
As we should.
The Fever beat the Atlanta Dream in overtime, had to overcome a 16-point deficit.
Needed it.
To beat Atlanta in OT. This so that they could not have lost 2 games in a row. They were on a hot streak. We talked about this last week. They played Minnesota last Friday. They lose. The Lynx, the 3 seed right now. If the postseason started tomorrow, the Lynx and Fever would be playing each other in the postseason. I thought it would be a good measuring stick game for the Fever, who have been in fuego and beat really good teams in that stretch. But the Lynx are a team that many people believe can sneak up, not even sneak up, they're in the 3rd position, and win the WNBA championship with the Aces not looking the way that they were. Asia Wilson is a little bit banged up, while they say it's not serious. And even the Liberty, who are not playing their best despite still winning as well. So the question that our producers posed that I found to be a little laughable, love you guys. Should we be worried that the Fever, after being as hot as they were, lost to the Lynx and then almost lost to the Atlanta Dream, a team that's sitting in 9th and just scraping and clawing to get into the postseason? And my answer would be no. No, they won. I mean, listen, the difference between a team that is showing maturity and growth, despite being young like the Fever are, is a team that, yes, did not start out very well, played with their food a little bit, found themselves in a big hole, and still found a way to dig themselves out of that and ultimately win the game. And more importantly, I think it was who factored so big in this game that is a big boon to the Indiana Fever. Because yes, Caitlin Clark, she gets 26 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, more history, becomes the first W rookie to play a full overtime game, 45 minutes since 1999. More history, 10 consecutive games now for Caitlin, hitting at least 3 shots from long distance, longest streak in history. She's now the 3rd player in W history to reach 300 assists in a season. The only ones that have done that, Alyssa Thomas, Courtney Vandersloot, more history, more history. But this, to me, is why you should feel good about that dream game. Aaliyah Boston.
1 for 30.
A 30 ball?
Career high.
11 of 16, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. First player in Fever history to hit that line, 30-10-5. As important as Kelsey Mitchell has been, as important as Lexi Hull finding a bit of a stroke to go along with her defense, as important as Nalissa Smith coming off the bench has been, they need Aaliyah Boston. That is the difference between maybe winning a first-round series and really making some noise.
Yeah.
And so if I am a Fever fan right now, yes, you know that against a better team, you cannot find yourself in a 16-point hole, but you've got to feel good about how they dug themselves out and who featured in the game.
I like the fact that actually they had to come up from a double-digit deficit at home against a team that's actually scarier in my estimation, because when you're desperate, you'll do anything. And the Dream are desperate with 5 games to play, and they are on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. I think they eventually sneak by. The Sky are in an absolute tailspin right now, especially Angel Reese. She's done for the season. But the Dream are a desperate team, and when people get desperate, they will do anything. They will plow out all of the stops, and that's why we saw the Dream have a lead and play like their season depends on it, because it does. And it shows me that the Fever can ride both highs, right? Like when you're winning, you're good. Winning solves everything. When you have leads, you're Gucci. You ain't got to worry. Everybody could be laughing on the bench. But when you're in a tight game and you have to get puckered up, like that shows me that they can hang with teams in crunch time. And watching the game and doing the highlight on SportsCenter, the thing that should be scary for everybody else is how Aaliyah Boston is getting her points by way of Caitlin Clark, because it's a pitcher and it's a catcher. It is a battery out there. They're running the high-low. They're running pick and rolls, and they are communicating without saying a word. They are communicating just innately. She's rolling off of screens, and every player that you mentioned, whether it's Vandersloot, whether it's Caitlin Clark or Kelsey Mitchell, they're all perimeter scorers. So if you have an inside-outside game in the playoffs and Aaliyah Boston's going for double-doubles, obviously not getting 30 every night, that's a career high for her. She's never done that. But now she has the right facilitators in place, clicking at the right time, that, again, it's not going to surprise me, the Fever winning a first-round series, even if it is against Nafisa Collier, who came on in the second half to lead the Lynx eventually to a win. This is a scary team right now that seem to me to be 5-tool players. They're a 5-tool team. They can pass, they can shoot. Okay, maybe defense is
not their strong suit. And turnovers. And Caitlin mentioned that too.
But they have an inside-outside presence,
sure,
which is deadly, which can be so scary once you get into the second season.
It's interesting because when we did the national championship, Carolyn Peck, she did a tape breakdown of Caitlin Clark and at the time her big Hannah Stuelke. And she talked about how Caitlin is essentially Patrick Mahomes and that Hannah Stuelke is her Travis Kelce.
Sure.
Always finds her, always kind of knows where she is, has this great vision. And to this point on the Fever, we were waiting on Aaliyah to become Caitlin's Travis Kelce. Just reliable. You always know that no matter what, she's going to leak out, find a way to get the ball, because Caitlin's going to find a way to get the ball to you. And we've started to see more of that from Aaliyah as the season's gone on, in particular after the Olympic break. But this was the game that showed how nasty this 1-2 punch can be, something that we were all salivating about, something that when we were sitting on the desk with Aaliyah Boston, during the national championship, we were like, girl, wait till those passes are coming to you, right? Like, so this is finally, I think we're seeing what could be between these two. Like I said, clean up the defense and clean up the turnovers, and this is a really good team. But you mentioned the Atlanta Dream battling it out with the Chicago Sky. They said a game back from the Sky, who despite missing Angel Reese, only one of, 2 double-digit scores on that team, and they're still winning games. Before we talk about the Sky, I do want to give a big shout out to Angel Reese, though. Her season ends earlier than we had hoped or expected, and certainly the timing's not great for a Chicago team that is still a playoff team right now. They would love to have, someone who's been historic in the post for them. But I hope she doesn't hang her head at all. An incredible season for her. There was a lot of question marks before she was drafted on just how her game would translate. And we knew that she'd get boards, but I don't think anybody thought she'd get them at this pace. And so she leaves this season, her rookie campaign. She probably won't get Rookie of the Year. That should go to Caitlin Clark, in my opinion. But man, she made it interesting. And I think that is a surprise in and of itself, that it was a very interesting conversation. Outside of that, history with the double-doubles. First player in league history to record 20 or more rebounds in consecutive games. She did that in 3 straight. And her 446 rebounds across 34 games, the most in W history ever. And honestly, her rebounding average is still on track to be the highest in a season. On top of that, culturally, right? Over 4 million followers on TikTok and on Instagram. She's at the Met Gala. She's hanging out with Meg Thee Stallion on stage. She's in music videos with Cardi B and Latto. Like, I just think it was an amazing year for Angel. It certainly didn't end the way that she wanted. I'm sure she wanted to be able to compete for a chance in the postseason, but just an incredible year for her.
Next year, I think the conversation is going to get a little bit more snug in terms of a next wave and a new generation of bigs in the WNBA, because you got to imagine Camila Cardoso getting better, evolving right there on the same team. And I think a lot of the conversation next year is going to be, okay, can she be better than Cameron Brink when Cameron Brink returns from her injury, right? Like, this crop of rookies, we all assume will be much better next year, which is actually a pretty high bar because across the board, they've been setting records. And I think that competition will breed more of that. I think, though, that there are some obvious areas in her game that she needs to address. She said it herself. Who'd have thought my last made bucket was going to be a 3? I think that's just God's way of telling me, all right, this is going to be the new me next season. And I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
You think there's a playoff team, though?
The Sky, no.
So herky-jerky to me.
Yeah, I think that, again, I think it would be very difficult to compete in the playoffs when you have one double-digit score on your team. I mean, obviously, some points are going to have to come from somewhere. The next few games, Chicago plays Washington on Wednesday. Very winnable game. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Then the Lynx on Friday. Then the Mercury. And then they'll play Atlanta to close out the season, the team that they're competing with. The Dream have the Lynx, a tough game, but then they've got Washington and Chicago. I think this is set up for the Dream to find a way into the postseason. But I feel like Chicago's brass didn't think they were a playoff team, which is why they traded away Marina Mabry.
Yeah, they made moves to indicate, hey, we're in a rebuild anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I think if they are able to sneak in, I think that whoever ends up being in that 1 seed, more than likely the Liberty, are like, thank you. Because I think the Liberty don't feel strongly about playing the Dream or Chicago, whoever it is that they're going to get in that first. But it's going to be really interesting. I love that it's coming down to this. We've got 2 weeks left in the regular season, and it's coming down to the wire.
Okay, so real quick, because the Fever have 4 games left, 2 of which are against the Aces.
Okay.
MVP is a regular season award.
Oh, God. It's a wrap. It's Gary, I know that Rookie of the Year is a wrap.
Rookie of the Year is a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap, babe. And I think that, like, I know that you're enjoying this and you're having fun with this but I think any person, any of the voters, any of the people who actually do this for a living, the one thing that you consistently see is, no, I'm talking about specifically cover the W.
Lock in.
They are consistently saying runaway MVP, not even contested, arguably presumptive runaway. She's literally about, this is even with her being injured and not playing a game. She is literally about to have the best scoring season that we've ever seen in the WNBA in its infancy, since its infancy, ever. Score more points than anybody else per game ever. And again, is the only reason that this team is clinging to the spot. I thought that them playing the Liberty tough, I know that they don't believe in moral victories. They're a 2-time champ, but they played that team incredibly tough and overcame a big deficit themselves without Asia Wilson. Maybe that's what they needed. Maybe they needed to show themselves like, we can do this, right? Like if we can almost do this against the top team without Asia, we can certainly do it with her. We've got to be able to help her out more. So I'm not sleeping on the Aces, but no, Gary, in my opinion, and I would say in the opinion of 90% of the WNBA talking heads, not the ones on social, not just Caitlin Clark fans, would tell you that it is Asia. And if it's not Asia, it's Nafisa. And if it's not Nafisa, then it would be Caitlin. Or maybe even you'd throw Stewie in there.
Okay. Hey, listen, a month ago, we breached the topic and people thought we were crazy. And then Caitlin Clark turned on and turned up. And now all of a sudden, she would be, in your estimation, a top 3 MVP vote getter.
Sure.
And hey, to that point with the Aces, they better play well without Asia Wilson because they got a handful of gold medalist, Olympians, All-Stars, and future Hall of Famers on that team.
Sure.
To which the Fever have none of that stuff.
Okay.
And they're still a playoff team.
Okay. All right. You know who did not look like a playoff team to me in the NFL as we're switching gears?
Everybody.
Everybody.
A whole
Man,
bunch of teams.
I loved watching Troy Aikman in as nice a way as possible yesterday in the pregame show for Monday Night Countdown. He basically said, we saw some bad quarterbacking this week. I mean, it was really, really bad.
Also, though, a symptom of 3 regular season games, or rather 3 preseason games.
That none of them play in.
Being condensed. They don't play in them. There's no more 2-a-days. Training camp has got, I'm not going to say soft, but training camp has changed. Preseason has changed. These guys don't hit their stride until we're into October.
Sure. Yeah. This first game of the season, especially since they went to 17, is ultimately a preseason game. It is. And we saw that across the board. Although I do think there are some people that are not going to bounce back. Like, I'm not worried about Joe Burrow. I know that Patriots fans are living their best life. In fact,
an anomaly.
In fact,
let's
play a little game. I got this email today.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't know.
Teed up Patriots. This can go anywhere.
This email is courtesy of a company called Loyalty Stars. And essentially, they go and they count all of the tweets surrounding a respective football team.
Okay.
And they estimate who are the happiest fan bases and who are the saddest fan bases based on these tweets. You tell me, based on the number of positive tweets, which is the saddest, angriest, pissed off fan base in all of NFL?
Based off of after just this week, I mean,
after watching their games, these fans were tweeting.
Packers can't be happy right now. Jordan Love's going to miss multiple weeks, and they lost to the Eagles.
Not even close.
And what did we talk about last week? I said somebody's going to get hurt because that dog.
You said it.
Whenever they take these things international, they don't care about the safety of these players. And now you're talking about a top 6 quarterback in the league having to miss multiple weeks. Thank goodness it wasn't, a tear of any sort, according to, our people here at ESPN. But he is going to miss multiple weeks due to a knee injury. If it's not the Packers, I'm guessing. Oh, well, the Giants, they expect futility.
I'm gonna have you pick the top 5 angriest fan bases. You hit it, and the Giants are in there.
Giants. I'll just say the Jets because it's New York, and even though Aaron Rodgers stayed healthy the whole game, the way you teed it up, are the Patriots mad for some reason?
No. Think about
the Browns can't be happy.
Think about some of the teams that you saw that were just absolute. Who was the most dog team we saw all weekend long?
The Giants.
No. You're forgetting about them. And that's the worst part, is that this team is not only bad, but they're irrelevant. The Panthers.
The Panthers. First interception on his first play. Yeah.
They looked like a college team. They looked like an FCS school playing in the NFL. There is nothing positive there. And alas, they are still not the angriest fan base.
Really?
You ready? Angriest fan base. This is according to Loyalty Stars, that again looks at all the tweets. Angriest fan base based on the number of positive tweets, the Raiders.
Angry.
Interesting.
It's
It's pretty hopeless for them.
Okay, yeah.
The Panthers at number 2.
Okay.
The Jacksonville Jaguars
Whoa.
at number 3. Number 4, I was a little surprised by this. I was a little surprised by this because honestly, I thought the idea that they were competing for as long as they did was a miracle.
Broncos?
The Cardinals.
Oh, the Cardinals. Yeah.
Angry fan base there.
Yeah.
Not happy with what they saw from the Cardinals. And then the top 5, rounding them out, would be the New York Giants that looked completely abysmal in the league. And yes, in terms of importance of anger,
Yes.
it would be the Giants over a team like the Panthers, who are a
Yes.
small market team that literally you forgot they existed completely.
That's why I teed it up like that. I was thinking more, what cities are the insufferable cities? And you can clump the two New Yorks. Boston, generally speaking, they're upset. The Green Bay actually has reason to be upset. I didn't think about the teams that are just happy to be here, like the Carolinas and the Jacksonville.
Still angry.
And the Jacksonville.
Still angry. Okay. Conversely, top 5 happiest fan bases based on positive tweets after week 1. Give me your top 5.
It's not the Bears because Caleb Williams played like straight up doo-doo.
He looked horrible.
We were not expecting wins from New England, so New England got to be up there.
They're top 6.
The Cowboys definitely are up there.
No.
God dang. Gotta love what you saw out of Houston.
Yeah.
Texans, okay.
And honestly, I think you love what you saw out of Anthony Richardson. That throw was insane.
68
that
air
throw,
yards?
it looked like the Gatorade commercial with Mike Vick, where like people for 5 minutes were like, did he really throw that football out of that stadium? It actually looked like
I
that.
remember the Michael Vick Experience Nike commercial. That thing was sick. Yeah, I mean, there was 16 teams that won, so this could be one of so many of them. Hit me.
Okay. Number 5.
I'm not going to say Kansas City, though, because they expect to win. So
sure.
Keep Kansas City.
They're in there, but number 5, the Bucks.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, they're feeling real good after they're watching what's happening in the Browns. You didn't want Baker Mayfield for a little bit of money. You wanted Deshaun Watson for all that. Look at Baker out here doing his thing.
And hey, listen, I know that the accusations are super serious, but something about that coming out the day after got me thinking,
The timing.
The timing on the Deshaun Watson thing is very curious, and that's all I'll say.
I would say the conspiracy theorists are saying, these things are popping up so that the Browns, if they want to clutch their pearls, can. But that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. When 23 and counting women came out,
but not if it's
and you not only said, we believe him and we believe in him,
that's true,
that we're going to sign him, you made him the highest paid quarterback in history when it was completely unnecessary to do so.
Now, is
that ship has sailed. You don't get to clutch your pearls now and go, well, now that we know he's not good, I guess we care about these things. You already showed you don't care.
Is the timeline different? October 2020, that was still the alleged incident, the new one that came to light, October 2020, that still falls in the same timeline as the other one?
Yes.
The other 23?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So then never mind.
Yeah.
But it was curious timing.
Yeah.
Very curious.
Probably fair. Number 4, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
I think they should feel pretty good about what they saw.
I mean, after losing last year's season opener, okay, cool.
Yes.
That was a tough game.
Number 3, which was interesting to me, of the happiest fan bases, the Eagles. Now, I understand that they're happy that like Saquon looks to be all as advertised, right? Yes. They went all in. They spent the money, more money than they've ever spent on a running back, and it paid dividends right away.
Return on investment was there.
Right away, especially on a Packers team that you can run on. You can run on the Packers, and I predicted Saquon would have a big night. I'm a little intrigued by this just because most people's biggest takeaway after that game, or at least what people keep saying to me, is, what is wrong with Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I don't like that.
What is up with Jalen Hurts? Like, is he broken? I heard that multiple times. So it feels like a cautiously optimistic situation. So to see that they were the 3rd happiest fan base, again, you start with a win. That's what you want. Yeah. But the Eagles do this. I mean, they started out with 10 wins last year.
Yeah,
they were 10-1 before they faltered down the stretch. I am concerned that Jalen Hurts is doing the same thing that Lamar Jackson does that we saw after that Thursday night game. I hope that Jalen and Lamar are not motivated by the discourse and narrative that has unfairly followed them since college, that they can't make the big throws. That has been something that Jalen Hurts has faced down from when he was in Alabama and then subsequently got benched when he was coming out. And we know that's been an issue for Lamar. People saying he can't throw. I hope that in an effort to stop that discourse, that they're not forcing the issue, because there was multiple times I'm watching that Eagles game and I'm going, why isn't he running? Why isn't he just doing the thing that makes him Jalen Hurts and scrambling or moving around or getting out of the pocket? It felt like he is beholden. It feels like in his mind, he's like, I'll be damned. I'm going to live and die by being a pocket passer. I'm going to show you that I can throw this ball. Lamar Jackson kept the Ravens in that game on Thursday because of his and one mixtape ability. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't scramble and run for his life, that's a blowout. And ultimately, I just hope that's not in the back of their mind in some way, because last year we excused Jalen's immobility by being like, oh, he's coming off tightrope surgery. Like maybe, they're trying to be cautious. Yeah. They need to make but watching that game, I'm thinking it's clear you can run on this Packers team. Why aren't you running more?
Interesting. I didn't see it like that. I saw it as Saquon Barkley is there to be the guy who runs. And as far as the discourse about not making the throw, Friday morning on SportsCenter, we were like, Lamar Jackson could have tied this game by hitting Zay Flowers. He was wide open in the back.
100%. And I was critical of him too.
So not making the throw, it's not an undeserved criticism.
Sure.
And I don't think Jalen Hurts threw a couple darts. One of the three to Saquon Barkley. So I think maybe because they went out and got Saquon Barkley to take the load off of Jalen Hurts having to run the ball. So, interesting.
And your last two happiest fan bases per Loyalty Stars.
Okay. Shout out Loyalty Stars, man. You getting some free run here on
the Elle Duncan
Show.
Number 2, the Minnesota Vikings, which I 100% get that. Okay. You won a game with Sam Darnold as your quarterback. With Sam Darnold as your quarterback, you won a game? You won a game? You better tweet your little happy off. You feel great. You thought your season was over when J.J. McCarthy went down? You got Sam Darnold. And finally...
they were playing the Giants. So,
well, yeah.
We could have played quarterback.
But I love... Listen, Vikings know it could get real nasty real quickly. So they're just going to tweet their happy off at first.
Okay.
And the happiest fan base in the NFL. Come on, man.
The Patriots?
No. We're going to bite their kneecaps, and then we're going to bite their ankles, and then we're going to rip their eyeballs out. The Lions, the happiest fan base. And you can understand why. I mean, they looked really, really good against the Rams. Really good against the Rams.
Yeah, okay.
They picked up, I think the question marks for the Lions, especially for a team that we always say act like you've been there before. Well, they just haven't. And I think the question mark for the Lions was, could they continue what they started at the end of last year, that role that they went on before it subsequently ended in the postseason? Like, could they do all of that? And they picked up right where they left off. And everything is clicking. Their defense looked nasty.
Yeah.
Jared Goff was humming with his receivers. The running game was going. They paid Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I think they're the happiest because it's like, this was not an anomaly. Last year was not an anomaly. Like, this team is as advertised.
Got it. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would expect Detroit to be happy because, again, they are one of those, hey, we've been here 3 days. Last year's success was an anomaly, and they're just trying to continue it. I don't see why they wouldn't be the happiest fan base in the league.
How do we feel about what the Jets fan base is feeling today? I'm not going to lie. I turned on this morning on Get Up just to see.
What are they talking about?
How's Greeny feeling? I think it's measured. Honestly, Aaron Rodgers looked fine to me.
Aaron Rodgers.
I thought he looked fine. Their defense, I'm not sure
it was a touch porous. They didn't have any answers for our guy, JM.
They had Jordan Mason. Yeah, Georgia Tech's finest.
Damn.
Undrafted.
That's crazy.
He's found himself at a bit of a brain pretzel too. Have you seen what's going on with him and Kyle Shanahan?
No.
So, of course, you're supposed to, give injury updates.
Yeah.
It can't be gamesmanship.
Oh,
you've got to
he said that he knew by Friday.
By Friday, he would be starting.
And Kyle Shanahan was like,
that's not true. This was a game time decision. And now there's a little... Then they asked Jordan about it in his post game, and he got in a little bit of a brain pretzel. And he's like, I don't want to answer this question because I always get in trouble. So a little bit of, when did Kyle Shanahan know that Christian McCaffrey would not be starting? Because this came as a surprise to everyone, including all the fantasy owners that wanted to riot because they thought Christian McCaffrey would be playing. And it said it was Jordan Mason. The positive thing to happen is that he's certainly going to get picked up on some waiver wires. A career high 28 carries, 147 yards, a touchdown, and just the 6th Niner since 1970 to post 100+ rushing yards in his first career start. He was fantastic. That Jets defense had no answer for him. The rush defense was pretty bad, and we saw that. Do I think that Hassan Reddick could have helped him in that? Probably not, but he definitely could have helped them in terms of the pass rush, which was also paltry. But that defense certainly let them down. Aaron Rodgers, I thought, looked fine.
When Aaron Rodgers made a couple of throws across the middle, hitting Allen Lazard and Breece Hall, and I was thinking to myself, holy smokes, dude. Aaron Rodgers still has like the zippiest ball in the NFL. He's lost none of that.
Sure.
It did look like he was a touch pensive with a couple of those rollouts and a couple of those bootlegs that he was like, ooh, I don't want any contact.
Yes.
And like everybody's looking at, where he's throwing it. And I'm like looking at his lower body like, dude, don't pop. Don't pop. Aaron Rodgers looks good. The one thing that we didn't think we'd have to question the Jets defense was was the area of the game that was a touch porous. That was weird.
Sauce Gardner going down for a little bit of time when he said he got the wind knocked out of him, had a big impact. Brock Purdy was 6 for 6 on that drive. But the biggest problem is, yes, this lays at the feet of the Jets defense. Not only did the Niners dominate time of possession, 38 minutes to 21 minutes, but they went on 8 straight scoring drives. They didn't punt after like the first quarter. That is a problem in particular because Aaron Rodgers has said time and time again that he chose the Jets because they had a defense that would always keep you in a game. So while they sorted out whatever was happening on the offense, which was a nightmare, they always had that and it was reliable, and it was in no way reliable for them last night. But I would also say this, you guys, this is a Niners team that is a perennial Super Bowl contender. Correct. And so what I hope this does is level set the Jets a little bit. We just assumed that Aaron Rodgers showing up would mean they're a contender. We were shown yesterday in real time that they are not. That making a playoff game, making the postseason would be really big for the Jets. But the idea that they're competing with the Niners, the Chiefs, sort of the class right now, to me, at this point, still game 1. We don't have to write the book yet. But that to me is like, that was a level set game. That was a measuring stick. And you see that you are not in the same league as them.
It's funny you mentioned Hassan Reddick, Elle. And listen, we don't know what it's like to cash an NFL paycheck, but this dude's getting whacked for $800,000 every game that he misses, and he's already stuck for $5 million in fees. Probably make me want to go back to work ASAP with the quickness. But nobody liked seeing the Jets lose, or rather 49ers win more than Hassan Reddick. Because he was sitting back last night probably counting new stacks that he has not made yet, based off of how the 49ers were basically able to have their way.
It's the Chris Jones effect. Chris Jones did this last year for the Chiefs. He sat out the first game.
He was sitting in the skybox.
Sitting in the skybox
with his agent. That was nuts.
Watching them get picked apart. They lose the season opener last year on ring night. And guess what? That contract came real quick afterwards, right? And I think the same thing can be said for Hassan Reddick, which is sort of what he's been able to do. Now, when you look at a situation like a Jamar Chase, because to me, that was the biggest disappointment of the season. Early season.
Oh, God.
How the Bengals looked.
Lost.
I mean, they looked bad. And for as much like goodwill and good juju on the Patriots side, and like good for Gerard Mayo, I'm glad he finally got his win. Jacoby Brissett, and they had their moment pregame where Gerard's like, "You're going to win this game. Don't you be nervous. You're going to win this game." And they did, and all of that. I still don't think the Patriots are like a good team. But that's incredibly disappointing. And if you're Jamar Chase, you've done this thing where you're like, okay, I'm going to hold out. I'm going to give him a little bone by showing up at practice. Never mind. They're getting too confident. I'm going to hold out. Okay, I'm going to play, but like, I'm not going to get a contract, but I expect a He lost a lot of his leverage in that way because he was in that game. And despite the fact that he really hasn't been at training camp, their offense was completely ineffective. And so I think as opposed to sitting out with contractitis, you played and they didn't win. And I don't think that, listen, Jamar Chase has nothing left to prove. The man has already proven that he is one of the best, if not the best receivers in the league, and he's going to get paid. That is incredibly disappointing for a Bengals team that we keep putting at the top of the list of real legitimate contenders. And it's either been spoiled by injuries time and time again, or by attrition or whatever it looks like. I just expected a better showing from the Bengals.
Hey, listen, Joe Mixon going for 160, 30 carries and a couple touchdowns for Houston. They probably wish they had that. Elle, I want to start this new thing because you know how so many of our people are like, all right, preseason Super Bowl predictions, and then they have to live and die by those predictions. We don't have to play by the same rules.
No.
I want week-to-week Super Bowl predictions.
Okay.
So based off of what you saw yesterday, who is going to be, and this is going to change next week.
Sure.
It doesn't have to change
next
week.
I love it.
Who's in your Super Bowl after week 1?
The Chiefs and the Lions.
Whoa, I'm completely different.
Wow, okay.
Texans, 49ers.
Texans Niners.
Good. Texans look good. We'll revisit this next week.
Yeah.
It could change, I think.
We have the right to completely eliminate this entire thing. Just a couple of other quick things to get to over the weekend. College football, man. Tony Kornheiser said that Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois was the top 5 worst loss of all time in sports.
Of all time in sports?
Yes. Does it make it worse that they paid Northern Illinois $1.4 million to beat them?
I still don't know how that works. I mean, I know they cut them a check to come play them,
sure.
but like, can't you get people to come play for free?
No.
Anyway?
No. Because what you're usually doing in these situations is you're
padding.
paying an Appalachian state.
Yeah.
You're paying them for the cost that it takes them to get there, and also as like a way to beat up on them, right?
Yeah,
it's like, I'm going to pay you so I can tee off on you, and that didn't happen. And I'm going to...
But here's the thing. Like App State, when they beat Michigan State or Michigan, 20 years ago, that was completely different. That was an FCS school. Right?
Sure.
NIU or Northern Illinois, they're a MAC team. Like, they're D1. They've won the MAC. They won the MAC in 2021.
Yeah. I mean, they'd never beat a top 10 team in the history and existence of their team.
I mean, that's true, but still, like, damn, it ain't D3. You know what I'm saying? It ain't one of those last chance U schools.
Can I tell you something like horrible that I texted a friend? Because I love Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's head coach.
Yeah.
As a person, as a coach, I think I love Marcus Freeman. Yeah, he's a great person. I love him so much. And so he's Korean. And I do not want him, and also black. I think we're going to take him in the race draft.
Depends on who's got the first pick.
Fair.
No.
Well, actually, you guys are definitely not taking him after this week.
I was going to say we're going to get Tiger Woods, and I know what you were going to say. Is
You're going to have him.
I knew it. I knew it.
He chose you guys a long time ago.
That's what I was waiting to hear from Elle.
He made that decision. But here's the thing. I love Marcus Freeman. And I keep hearing people say, like, this is like a fireable offense. Like, losing to Northern Illinois is a fireable offense. And I don't want Marcus Freeman to get fired because I love Marcus Freeman. But I did definitely text my friend and go, but if he was to get fired, do you think that means he'd come work with us? Because
straight up. Remote though, because the way Elle posed the question, HR is already on her.
Right, they're going to be like, we're never going to let him sit in the studio with you. Come this way.
He's from another bureau camp in a different building that we can't tell you about.
Texas, man.
I said preseason.
Do we think it's that Texas is that good or Michigan's that bad? Michigan's horrible, man. They're really bad. There is a huge chasm, Gary, in the top 3-4 teams and the bottom 4 or 5 teams in the top 10.
Stinks.
They are bad, dude.
The only reason Michigan's a top team is because they're Michigan and they won a national championship in this calendar year, but they lost 13 players to the draft, and that's a symptom of being good last year. But to have to reload, and listen, it's a blue chip program, so it's not like they don't have 4 and 5 stars, but they're just not good. They have 2 quarterbacks, and that means you don't have one. Texas is just that good. I think Texas is going to battle Georgia to win the SEC. I'm high on them. They lost their 5 top wideouts last season in Austin. They reloaded with 6 just as good. 4 of them for the portal. Texas looks awesome. Quinn Ewers, first round pick. He looks sick.
Texas looks really good. Again, I don't think that like the measuring stick going into the big house and winning is always tough, no matter what the Michigan team is that they put out there. But man, that team, I mean, that's a team that barely beat Fresno State.
Sure. They hung up 30 on Fresno. But going into Ann Arbor, 110,000 people who don't like you, that's still hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to do.
It is. And Texas is looks like, man, that game on, what is it, October 20th? With Georgia.
Oh, with Georgia?
That's going to be the game of the year. We say that every week. This is the game of the year, but it is.
That's going to be sick.
It's going to be huge and probably going to have a lot of playoff implications because, again, even a team like Notre Dame, you can still make the postseason, because they've expanded it despite losing to a team like Northern Illinois. But I would say that Texas and Georgia both have to go into that game undefeated because whoever loses that game still could potentially be in the SEC championship. I think that Texas and Georgia can still make the postseason with 2 losses, but certainly that's not something that you want to attempt. They've got to go in undefeated.
They can because there's 6 teams in the SEC that are top 10 schools. We're already bypassing Alabama. Alabama won 42 to whatever it was, and then week 1 they won 63. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, it was a little tighter than it probably should have been in the 3rd, 4th quarter. They eventually started running away with it.
I'm not ready to give you my national championship pick, okay? But Texas is up there.
Texas is up there. All right.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Don't count out them dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Go dogs. Any last minute things you want to get off your chest as we wrap up this show for the day?
Elle, no. My brain is in a tailspin in a whirlwind because we are now in football season.
Yeah.
I don't know what day it is.
Uh-huh.
I don't know when I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
I'm just setting up camp at my desk, and I just show up when the producers text
me. Oh, you're Zubin?
Yes. I am Zubin 2.0. Yeah.
Shout out Zubin Mahinti. For those of you that don't know, he is our A Spoon Coon. This guy literally is like the utility player. It means that he's like the guy. It means the guy that you always go to.
True.
It's like the world is falling apart. We
Breaking
have no
news.
cameras, prompter, or producers. Who will save us? Zubin.
Boom.
He will always save us.
Because you know why? TV's hard, and only Zubin, can do it without help.
Take that,
hard.
Tom Brady. Actually, no, we're defending Tom Brady. Oh, God.
Hell yeah, we are.
Starting and ending a show where I
Cut the
defend Tom
episode
Brady.
before Elle changes her mind.